Yeah, I was gonna say, suck it, Fed.
I mean, we're cooking U20s.
But I think it's like the fifth. I want to say it's the fifth straight time that we've gotten to the quarters, I guess, for U20.
Yeah, beat Italy 3-0. We beat France in the group stage. Like those are real deal scalps right there.
Yeah, no, no, and I think we play. We play like the winner of. We might play Korea next. I think. All right, let me check to see what's going on YouTube. Let's see here. Let's see if it's working. Let me check to see what's going on YouTube. Yep, we are live and it is working. All
Yoo-hoo.
right.
Mm.
All right.
You know, just because of Denny Buanga, I've started following Gabon,
How are they doing?
and I completely forgot that Pierre Emerick
P.
Aubameyang
Yeah,
is also from.
PEA. He's a Gabonian too. Is it Gabonian? You think, or is it?
I
What
think
do you
it's
think?
yeah, Gabonese or Gabonian. I think Gabonese maybe.
Those Gabonese. Look, they know how to produce some goal scorers.
Yeah, yeah, they do. That's the you find one, right? Aubameyang emerged out of left field, and so he's there. And then there's always like somebody to look up to, and then Buanga emerges. I couldn't tell you another person on the team, but you got Aubameyang and you got Buanga. You might be able to put together a campaign to get in the World Cup.
Are they? Do you know where they're at in Afcon?
They are with this win. They came back today. Aubameyang 4 goals and a red card.
Wait, what?
Yeah, that's got to be coined something. That's got to be the
I mean, it's the
the
Aubameyang. It's got to be the Aubameyang. If you get four goals,
Aubameyang,
and who else is
four
scoring
goals
four
and
goals and getting a red
a red.
card?
Or in the 20th, 42nd, 62nd, 78th, red card in the 85th.
At
They
that point,
beat
he's like,
Gab.
"Look, I just got to get back on the sheet somehow. I got to get
Yeah,
five."
yeah. How do I round out so that I just completely own the score sheet? Yeah, they won 4-3
He should have
against
gotten
Gambia.
he should have gotten a yellow and then a second yellow a few minutes later. So he had like the yellow and then the like. So he showed up six times on the recap.
Yeah, yeah. So they are 7-1-1, 22 points. They're in second behind Ivory Coast, 7 wins, 2 draws, 23 points. Um, they basically just they basically solidified themselves at least in the playoff. So
Don't five teams
top
make it?
top of each group automatically qualifies, and then the 4 best runners up qualify for playoffs. So if you look at the runner up tally, we're just going right into AFCON just to start things like the African qualifiers just to start things off. Really circumnavigating the audience space here. You got, is that Madagascar? Well, Madagascar has 19 points after 9 games. They're in second. Namibia has 15 after 9 games. Uganda 18. Gabon 22. Niger has 12 after 7 games. Cameroon is in second with 18 points. Ooh, wow. Look at here. Nigeria is in third with 14. South Africa, second, 15. Benin, 17, topping the table. So that one could go either
Oh
way.
wow, wow. How many? Does it say how many they play?
They played 9 games each.
That's a weird number. It's like
Nigeria
just because
might,
it's like they
I think
don't
they have
play
one more. They have one more qualifier.
9 games. They say they played 10 games total.
There's six in
Yeah.
that group.
So you play you play each other team twice. So you play 10 total.
So Nigeria need to do something,
They need to
otherwise
win.
they're out completely.
Does
You got
does
Congo with
Gabon
19.
play Ivory Coast?
Let's see here. Gabon's next game is against Burundi.
Because if
And then
they
the
can
Ivory,
beat Ivory Coast, they must have lost both games to Ivory Coast, and they've probably whooped everybody else.
yeah, they either tied or drew
Yeah,
the Ivory Coast.
yeah.
So, I mean, Gabon has basically secured themselves
The
a
play.
playoff spot,
Yeah,
no
but
matter what.
if they win and Ivory Coast draws or loses, they could get the top spot and get the auto qualify.
Yeah. And let's see. Ivory Coast plays Kenya next. Kenya is third in the group.
Ooh.
Burundi is fifth in the group, which Gabon plays, so you like their chance.
Yeah, in
There
Kenya,
are
they can be feisty. You
there
know,
are so many countries.
we uh, preview for our pod next week. It will be international focused. We're gonna do the road to 26, so the USMNT, like locks, likelies, and hopefuls for that roster. We'll talk a little bit about the international break, and then we will go into. I don't think we'll go as deep into AFCON as we just did, but we will go through
Yeah.
the other nation groups, right, and give you a little bit of a 26 World Cup preview. Who's already qualified? Who's in the playoffs? What that's going to look like. So
You're talking to a couple folks that have World Cup tickets in hand already, so the excitement's starting to brew.
big time excitement. We're going to get to
Wallets
watch.
are a little lighter. They're a little lighter than they were last week.
Yeah. We're going to get to watch our beloved red, white, and blue play in our home city. So that's pretty exciting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
Yeah. Okay.
Very-
The fantasy.
The fantasy.
The fantasies. Let's jump into the fantasy part of the pod this week. This week in the fantasy OO. First, shout out the commissioner for paying out last year. There's a second shout out to you coming, but just payments have been made. I'm still waiting for the recap email. It's still one of my favorite emails to get.
It's literally drafted,
All right.
and just all it needs is I spent way too much time on it. I need to round out fourth, fifth, and sixth. Is
you have to
you,
figure out a
me,
gift to use. You have to use it to figure out a gift to use for me. That's what you're telling me.
everything else is completed. The
Yeah.
payments are out.
Yeah.
The books are cleared.
Yeah.
Back.
Officially can move on to this season. And speaking of this season, another week with no movement in the top 4 of our top 5. But Fed gets his first shot out for the pod this year, moving into the top 5, dropping Mints out of the top 5 to number 6. So top 4, like I said, remains the same. James, Milady, Neil, and Bowman. James is up by 43 points on Milady. Milady's up 17 on Neil, and Neil's up 7 on Bowman. Fed's coming in at 411 points in 5th place, 80 behind James. So James still with a sizable lead, then a kind of a drop to Milady, and then another drop to Neil, and then kind of starts bunching up a little bit.
James is already plummeting. He's dropped to 11,000th in the world.
It is true. He peaked, I think, at 2.6K. I think at one point, I don't know if it was in the middle of the week or at the end of it, he was up to 2.6K in the world. But his rank has 5x'd since then, and mine's cut in half. So I'm moving on you, James.
I'm not a mathematician, but that's positive movement for the boys. We're coming for it.
And speaking of movement for the boys, yourself, Schwartz, the manager of the week, is on the pod today. An 82-point week.
Yes.
Propelled by differentials of Moses Caicedo's 10-pointer and Mohamed Kudus's 12-pointer. Hitting for you and kind of carried you above some other folks, including myself at 75 points. Fed was at 76. But, manager of the week, first time either of us have been in the positive and mentioning a positive mention on the pod. So congrats, buddy.
Yeah. I got to say, I feel like I'm alive again. Just there's just a just a sad, not sad, sad's the wrong word, but just like you don't get those little dopamine hits. It's like now I look at the fantasy and I'm like, okay, options. Yes, things are happening now. I can see it. I'm like Neo in the Matrix. I see the ones and twos and it makes sense to me. Before that, I'm just like going, I don't know what I'm looking at. I don't know. I don't get it. And Caicedo, one DEF CON away from just absolute glory.
Yeah.
I kept checking the refresh and I was watching that game. I'm like, just tackle somebody. Just do it.
Yeah,
Come on.
just beg Liverpool to start lobbing in crosses and for Caicedo to be the one to clear it out of there. Uh,
Yeah.
on
Yeah,
to-
I'll take it.
Yeah.
No, Isak got an assist.
Yeah.
We had been talking about it. Kudus was going to come good, and he did in a big way. 1-1, yellow card, but whatever, 3 bonus. Like these are the things that we needed. Foden will come alive eventually. Probably get to it in a bit.
Yeah, I got a little bit of Foden in the recap. He's like the underlying numbers are getting there for him. He's gonna have a game where he goes 2-1 soon. I can feel it in my plums.
And he was not called up to England, which means he gets a nice little rest, which is
and probably some like work with Pep too, right? Just like, hey, show up to the field, to the training ground. Pep's there. Stay in his good graces. Don't go on international duty where you could end up in the doghouse from calling some birds over to your hotel room late, and then word gets back to Pep that you've been breaking curfew. So, keeps him out of trouble.
Who did he do that with again?
Greenwood, I think. When
Mason.
Yeah. Ill-fated Mason Greenwood. That is not the man you want to attach your wagon to. Yeah. Yeah. On to worse news this week in our fantasy league. Cam Kolovos, former champion, earns Bum of the Week status. 49 points. Doesn't sound so bad, but when you dig into it, it gets pretty bad. He had 9 blanks on his squad. The only 2 guys who marked for him were his captain, Erling Haaland, and then Semenyo. Now, you might say, oh, that's a great captain and great pick. Unfortunately for Cam, our entire league both captain Haaland and started Semenyo. So the only 2 guys that marked for him earned him 0 points on the rest of the league. So that is, and then you get 9 other blanks, including a donut. That's gonna be how you end up literally bottom of the pile for the league this week. So he falls to 19th place, staring relegation early in the face. All I have to say is, Cam, do better. You probably won't listen to this, but if you ever do better. Do better, Cam.
Yeah. 49 points. That's a rough one. It's a roughie. You got Paqueta on your team. Paqueta is only good for a penalty. That's really all he's there for.
Let's
see, what else?
I looked at his team. I was like, oh, I can see why you blanked. I can see why you're in 19th place.
Yeah. Hey, either get better or don't. There's a payment coming. If you don't do it, you don't do it.
Yeah.
Up to you. Money's always good.
Transfers of the week in our league. Another first. We had the same person with both the best and the worst transfer of the week. And it's the man at the top of the table, James Veras. He went McAllister to Semenyo for a plus 16. So, man, everyone in the league but him almost owns Semenyo, which would have been huge for the rest of the league for an 18-pointer. But he brought him in, so kudos to him for that. But then, and this I guess is maybe a credit to the rest of the league, but the worst transfer of the week was Vardiol to Gabriel for a -3. So, almost like, wow, you brought in Gabriel. He went for 9 points, but you took out a guy who went for 12. So I'd say it's probably very, very rare that I've ever seen where you sub a guy out, you bring a guy in, the guy you bring in scores 9 points, and it's a net negative for your team and a bad transfer. But we saw it this week with the league leader. So tough break for James there, but you win some, you lose some, I guess.
Crazy chemistry that boy is concocting over there.
Yeah.
Good God.
Get
all the right moves. Yeah. Even his bad moves are good moves.
Yeah. He subs Vardiol out and still gets a 9-pointer. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Good for you, you little bit.
Unbelievable. General fantasy notes. I've got my stat of the week this week. So right now, they're the top 25 midfielders in scoring right now. How many of them started the season above 7.0 from a purchase price standpoint? And can you name them?
I mean, I would say the majority of like almost like everyone's got to be, but like there's not a single. If you look at the top guys, that's going to be Saka, Palmer, Salah, Palmer, Saka. Those guys have done really. Yeah, it's gonna be like Semenyo, it's gonna be Caicedo, it's gonna be like that guy Cullen and Anthony, like those dudes. Um, Even like Jackie Greals in there.
He is in there. Yeah. But he started at or below 7.0. So
Yeah, I would say the majority are all below 7.
So
Started there.
of the top 25, only two started above 7.0, and neither of them are in the top 10. And they both play for Liverpool. So Salah has 34 points and Gakpo has 33 points. They're the only two midfielders in the top 25 of midfield scorers that started above 7.0. Bruno is tied for 25th. He started above 7.0, but because he's tied, I don't give him the credit. He's not in the so that's a crazy stat, I think, for me anyway.
Yeah, you've never seen that. And they said there's no more middle class. Look at it's right here. It's alive and well in the fantasy. That's crazy though. That is crazy. Like that many guys are like, but I wonder if like are their prices plummeting because of that?
Not really, because the thing that my here comes a little Bickle rant on the fantasy. Like it only affects you only go down in price if people are selling you. And so like what happens is you get these mass sell-offs of these players who are underperforming, or like Palmer's injured so he got sold off. So he might have dropped a couple points, and I guess Verts has dropped a couple. But unless you were highly owned, if like Saka as an example, he wasn't really highly owned at the start of the season because he was injured. And nobody's selling him because no one has bought him to bring him in. He scored this week, so people might start buying him. But there hasn't been like a huge plummet in scoring from people that started above that because they weren't that highly owned to begin with, outside of like 3 or 4 guys. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like I wish that it was more like the stock market, where it's like, oh, you've got 5 blanks in a row, you've dipped like 0.4, and kind of like make it more dynamic pricing, less on who's buying you and more on like how you're performing. But that's
Because if you look at Salah, the last 3 weeks he only had a net transfer loss of 33,000. Then it went up to 652,000.
Yeah.
And then 708,000 last week. So now he's down to a 14.4. He's only dropped 0.1.
Right. And the thing is, the other thing is, when people wild card, those transfers don't count for price rises or price falls. So like of those,
really?
Yeah, of those like 700,000 that transferred him out, I bet 80% of them were probably on wild card.
Wow, I had no idea.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's so many wild cards available now, so that like
Yeah,
that completely changes the calculus on how these prices go up and down.
exactly.
Wow.
All right.
Palmer only has 11 points.
Yeah. My second stat of the week. This isn't trivia. This is more just fun stat. Erling Haaland, 70 points so far this season. Top scorer in the Prem. The next 2 highest forwards have scored a combined 74 points. So Haaland almost has more points than the next 2 highest scoring forwards combined. And those 2 forwards in second and third place are João Pedro and Jared Bowen. So pretty crazy though.
Well, I think what's indicative of this, like again, like the bigs not performing, and like this more middle ground, like the middle tiers is the ones doing it. I also have a fun fact that I saw this week, and it was based on the English national team. And so for the first time since 1992 versus France, England's starting 11 did not feature a single player from Chelsea, Liverpool, or Man United.
Wow. Wow.
None of them were in the starting 11 from those three clubs.
And when you think about it, so do United have anybody like even on the precipice? Or Liverpool, like none of the good players on Liverpool are England. Like Chelsea, Palmer's injured and Reece James is like a fringe squad player for England. But other than that, like Liverpool don't have any good English players on their team anymore, and neither do Man United. I guess Maguire or Shaw, but like they're not good anymore.
No, like and or like I guess Kobe Mainu and
Oh yeah,
like
yeah, 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 yeah.
where's Ahmad Diallo from? I don't even know where he's from.
I don't
English,
know. He might be. I don't know.
but either way, and like I would say the last English guy that was like now that Trent's gone from Liverpool was Elliot, but now he's gone. He would
Yeah,
come in and like
and then it goes
that's
all the way back to
that's saying
Gerrard
some
or Henderson.
yeah
Henderson was on their team like that. He was like the English midfielder for a while, defensive mid. Jordan
yeah
Henderson. Yeah.
they don't really have like a
Mm-mm.
treasure trove of English players in there, and for those three clubs to not have a single person in the starting lineup is pretty wild.
Yeah, that is a crazy stat. Obviously, that'll change when Palmer's healthy, but still pretty crazy to not even have anybody on this. Wow.
Yeah. And like
Okay.
to think of again the stat you mentioned about the forwards and their performance. So Premier League table based on XG, Man United have the most XG in the league at 14. Crystal Palace have 13.8, Arsenal 13.3, 13.7, Liverpool 12.9, Chelsea 12.8. So Man United have all this. They have just XG flying out their pockets. They just can't. I don't know. As my dad would once said, they couldn't. No, never mind. You get the point.
But they've missed two penalties, so that's like
It's true.
1.6 xg right there,
Yep.
not converted, or like 1.8 xg. Not, I think a penalty is like 0.9 xg. So that's 1.8 xg that they haven't even converted yet.
They're also leading in shots per 90 and key passes per 90. Now, I got to be honest, I don't know what a key pass is. What does that mean? Is that like a pass like into the box? Is that a pass into the attacking
It's
third?
it's probably
Like,
like an Opta stat that is defined ambiguously as like a pass that leads to a scoring opportunity. Would be my
got it.
guess. Which how do you measure that? I don't know, but Opta does.
It's two layers down of like, is that a scoring opportunity? Is that not a scoring opportunity? Okay, key pass. Got
Yeah,
it.
exactly, exactly.
Whatever it is, they're doing it and then they're not doing it, is
Yeah.
what United are doing.
Look, it also goes back to the black hole up front for them. Like they haven't found since Van Persie, they haven't found someone to score goals for them.
Yeah.
Uh, it's
Yeah.
just
Or even like Zlatan after that. Zlatan still scored goals,
yeah,
you know?
but he scored, but not at the I guess not at the but he was also like the backside of his career, not quite like fully.
Scored more than any of these bums they're
Oh
bringing in.
yeah, I mean that's and I guess even Lukaku scored more than these bums. Man, remember
Yeah.
they had Fellaini at forward for that?
Yeah.
Oh,
And it was and it worked. He was dangerous, just like we talk about with Maguire,
oh man. All
the best
right,
forward.
around the Prem, highlighting some key matches. We're gonna start at the former top of the table, the match of the week: Liverpool versus Chelsea. Liverpool once again get pipped late, losing 2-1 to Chelsea, a stoppage time winner. For Chelsea, that makes 2 games in a row that Liverpool have lost in stoppage time after like winning the first 9 games in stoppage time of their season. So looks like we had talked a little bit about it. It's like, okay, what's the normal? Is Liverpool going to play better and they're not going to come? These games aren't going to come down to the wire, or is their luck going to turn? And it turns out it was the latter, and their luck has turned. Um, Salah with another blank, although the underlying stats are a little bit better for him this week. 0.26 xg, 0.27 xga for a 0.53 xgi. So kind of trending up for Salah compared to where he had been. I'm just going to mention him because I still hate him. Verts got 45 minutes with an XG of 0.0, so still not a good fantasy asset there. On the flip side, we mentioned a goal from Caicedo for Chelsea, and then the winner from 18-year-old Estevao. Is he the next Chelsea Wunderkid, or is he just in the right spot at the right time? He seems pretty good. Brazilian, like he's producing when he's been out there. He's got, I don't even know if he started yet this year, but he's got 20 fantasy points, and basically coming on as a sub. Chelsea
Just scored 2 goals today for Brazil. Estevao.
Okay, so
The youngster's starting to heat up nicely.
and that will be big for Chelsea, as they've just been looking for like where to find their offense, and especially I read that Palmer is going to be out through the next international break, so he won't be back until late November or mid to late November at the earliest. So they need to find a way to score goals. Look, Caicedo and Enzo, I don't think are going to be the ones that can carry you through with getting all these goals from midfield. But Estevao and Pedro kind of need to step up. On the defensive side of Chelsea's fantasy assets, they keep leaking goals. I don't know when their last clean sheet was, but both Cucurella and Gusto supplied assists. Liverpool dropped to second place after this loss, and Chelsea move up into seventh.
And for anyone keeping track, I believe I had this.
Yes, you did.
Along with the Caicedo goal.
You did, yes. Prediction of the week. Check that.
Boom.
And if you guys were listening, which you weren't, and you had bet it, you probably could have made a pretty penny betting that outcome.
For our future betting partners out there,
Yeah.
we're hitting here. We're giving away top picks for free.
Yeah, DraftKings, we are open for business. Also, Roback, open for business. If you want to sponsor us, sponsors, we are open for business. We might even have one viewer this week, so we'll see. Okay,
We got to start sharing it with the thread once we're done.
Yeah, we'll start sharing the links soon, probably after the next round. We're just still working the kinks out, getting this dialed in. Next game, also a prediction of the week. I got it wrong. City 1-0 over Brentford. I thought Brentford would pip them late like they usually do. City's defense held on, although Brentford did turn the tide. Like the second half, City should have been up 3-0 at halftime, and then the second half Brentford played them even or outplayed City. City's defense held on, but Erling Haaland with the goal and 2 bonus points. Like I mentioned before, Gvardiol with a 12-pointer. He had an assist, a clean sheet, and full bonus. Foden and Rangers both blanked. Foden with a .49 XGI. So again, like trending up into that half and like the goals are going to come. And Rangers had a .24 XGI, but I don't know if you saw. He had a shot that looked like it was absolutely destined for the goal, and Kelleher made a great stop on it. Just absolutely robbed him.
I don't know how I feel about it. He had like a great first game, and I think he scored for Holland today. If I had to pick somebody who's like potentially on the chopping block, it could be him at some point. Just because like
but
he's there, but it's nothing's coming from it.
Yeah, the thing is though, and this is where like value comes into play, and maybe it doesn't matter so much right now with none of the other premium scoring besides Holland, but at 5.5, a guy who's playing like 70 plus minutes every single game for City in an attacking midfield role feels like it's going to come good, and you're getting a ton of value for him at 5.5. But again, he's got a bunch of blanks in a row now, so.
Brentford seemed like a stingy side.
They're a good team.
Like they really do.
Yeah.
Like, but that goal that Holland scored was a big boy goal. Did you hear the quotes from him afterwards of him saying that like, yeah, the defender was talking and he was like, all right, well, let's go. Let's just go. Let's do this. And he just bodied him, threw him around, and slotted that one up. And when you saw that, you're like, wow, this game could get away like real quick. But credit to Brentford for battling, keeping it close, and they're a stingy side. They lost their coach. They lost Bumo. They lost another guy, what's his face, to Arsenal. They lost like big players. Amsgaard, I think it was.
Yeah.
Hey, they look good still.
Again, it's another organization that just like they figure out how to rebuild and like they figure out a system that works and they trust it. I think that Holland goal really kind of showed all of his class, right? Like it showed speed, power, and then the ability to finish. Like it wasn't oh, I'm wide open, I'm going to smash it home. It was a really slotted home finish. Went after out muscling the defender. That's really hard to do. And then City were on the front foot for the rest of that first half. It should have, like I said, it should have been 3-0. Kelleher played a great first half to keep it 1-0 at halftime. And then, City held on in the second half, even though Brentford kind of turned the tide, kind of took it to City a little bit, but couldn't score. That's probably where they missed Bomo and Damsgaard, right? Is like trying to break down a squad like City. City move up into fifth place with the win, only 3 points behind the league leaders. City, like we said, kind of can see them rounding into form a little bit. They're winning and they actually get a clean sheet now. Guys are playing well. The guys that are away are playing well on international duty. So just gotta avoid the injury bug. It seems like Rodri might be hurt. He said after the game that he felt better than he thought. So it might not be a long-term thing. Hopefully, I haven't looked. Hopefully he's not playing for Spain this international break. Hopefully it got him some rest heading into the international break so he can be fully healed. Because obviously he's a huge difference maker for City in the middle of the pitch.
Yeah, it's just crazy that they're in fifth. Behind Bournemouth, behind Spurs.
But it's one game. It's 16, 15, 14, 14, 13. So they're like basically right.
Yeah, it feels like they've done better than that.
Yeah.
It's just when you look at that, you're like, wow, fifth. I just didn't think that. I would have said like second or third.
Yeah, I mean they had the loss to Spurs and then the late goal by Arsenal to draw them. Those were kind of some points that they probably left on the table.
Here's what it does. It just gives Arsenal cockiness and then the inevitable let down when it doesn't happen.
Look, it's Lucy holding the football for Charlie Brown. Look, here it is, Charlie. Come kick it. You're in first place. Come kick the ball. Yeah, every year. Yeah. Speaking of Spurs, they're next up on my list. A 2-1 win over Leeds, like I said, propelled them into third place at 14 points. You mentioned it, 1-1. For Kudus, an assist in DEFCON for Porro from a fantasy perspective. U.S. men's national team hopeful Brendan Arison got the assist on the Leeds goal. I was really hoping Spurs would keep a clean sheet for my defense, but alas, they did not. It's again a solid win going and taking the 3 points and just 2 points behind Arsenal at the top of the table. So great start, great first. I'd say first fifth of the season-ish, first fifth, sixth of the season for Spurs. So couldn't really ask for a better start for the Thomas Frank era.
Yeah, I think, I don't have it in front of me, but I don't think Leeds had lost at home in something like a year of going into that game. Like Leeds' home record, even though, they're coming up from championship, but still, like they had like a little fortress at home. So on paper, beating Leeds, you're like, well, okay, you should sort of beat Leeds. They're getting a promoted side, but they're coming in. These aren't the normal promoted sides. The promoted sides are coming in hot. They're strong. They're stingy. Like Sunderland's in 9th. Leeds are in 15th. Burnley's in 18th, but they've played like pretty well.
I mean, and Sunderland are only in 9th because they lost this week. I mean, like other teams passed them. They were in 5th after last week. So
yeah, so that Leeds result was solid, and we needed it after a few draws. So credit to the boys for grinding that one out, and way to go, Kudus. Yeah. Both. Those are the best when you're the team you support and your guy on fantasy hit is like just a double.
Yeah, that's the dream. That's the dream game.
You don't hear me say this but often, but way to go, Mohammed.
Yeah. Moving moving on, Arsenal 2, West Ham nil. As we mentioned, Arsenal moved to the top of the table. From a fantasy perspective, Timber gets an assist, a clean sheet, and 2 bonus. Gabriel gets a clean sheet, DEFCON, and a bonus. The rest of Arsenal's D banked clean sheets as well. Rice got a goal for Arsenal, and then Saka scored on a pen. So earlier in the season, there were some reports that Gyökeres might be on pens. Turns out not the case with a fully healthy Saka. Gyökeres blanked again. To be honest, 9.0, not on penalties. Feels like a lot of money for a guy. I don't know. For me, he's on my chopping block. Arsenal have some good fixtures still coming up, so I'm not gonna probably won't move him yet unless there's an injury in the international break. But definitely someone I'm keeping an eye on to kind of cut bait with sooner rather than later. Some other options that I think are pretty intriguing at forward that are cheaper for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of, like, he was in the Prem before. He was at Brighton, left, goes to Sporting Lisbon, lights it up. Now, scoring goals is scoring goals. It's hard to score goals, but it's much easier to do in the Portuguese league when you're playing for the best team in the league, right? Like, those numbers get vastly inflated. Now he's back. The confidence was high. He's back in the Premier League. And look, these aren't Portuguese defenders, like Portuguese league defenders, I should say. Like, it's going to be hard. And he just, as at the moment, doesn't look like, if you look at like Sesko, and I put Sesko and him as like, those are the guys you're looking at to see how they perform each week, because they were the big like striker signings outside of Isak, but you already knew Isak because he was already in the league. And Sesko's starting to get those sloppy goals. He's starting to get those goal scorers goals. I'm pretty sure that Gyökeres has only scored a penalty. Is that right?
He might have one other.
For me, he had one other. Right, but it was that, and it was like a penalty. And but Sesko's starting to get the little slop and get those like goal scorers goals. So I'll be curious to see how those two where they net out at the end of the year. Gyökeres played again today alongside Isak. Sweden lost again. So Sweden are trending towards the drain when it comes to qualifying for the World Cup.
Oh no, bumpy.
They got a draw and 2 losses. They just lost to Switzerland. They lost to Kosovo, and they tied. But they were beating that team, gave a goal in the 90th. So things aren't looking good in Swedeland.
No.
And
Okay, so I'm looking at Gyökeres' stats. He actually had .63 xG, so that's pretty good against West Ham. But he seems to be a bully against the bad teams. So he had 2 goals against Leeds. He had a goal against Forest, and then he blanked against West Ham, but had a .63 xG against Newcastle, Man City, Liverpool, and Man United. So like 4, and I'm giving Man United way too much credit here. But 4 teams that you would consider like top half of the table teams, or even better than that, between Newcastle, City, Liverpool, and United. His combined XG in those 4 games, you want to take a crack at it?
it's probably like 0.05.
0.26, but all 0.26 came against Newcastle. So against City, Liverpool, and United, he had 0.0 XG. And then
0.0. Got any production value to this? We could add that from Animal House right now. 0.0.
I will say he seems like a bully against the bad sides. And coming up, he's got Fulham away, Palace home, Burnley away, Sunderland away. So like 2.5, I would say, very good fixtures there between Burnley and Sunderland away. I know like Sunderland's not bad. Like they're not your promoted side that's going to give up 8 goals, but you like him to score at least once in those 2 games, and then Palace will probably blank, but it's a home game, so you never know. And then Fulham away out of the international break. So I'd say like 3.5 decent fixtures coming up for him.
Yeah. Hey.
Yeah.
We'll see. Is he Gyoke the choke, or is he gonna, and he start doing this shit? It's funny when a guy has like, he basically, it's like he's trying to hide his face in general just from the league because he can't. He's embarrassed. He can't do anything. It's when some guy has like a special thing and
Yeah.
then doesn't score at all. You're kind of like,
Pretty good.
e.
Pretty good.
E.
Uh, Last but not least, look, they're relevant. They're making my roundtables right now. They're in fourth place in the league, and they have two of the best fantasy assets. Bournemouth. Bournemouth absolutely took it to Fulham, a 3-1 win for them. They are fourth in the league. Senesi with a blank this week, and he lost his title as top scoring defender as both Timber and Gabriel from Arsenal jumped past him. But Semenyo, like I mentioned him before, 100% owned in our league, did his thing. 2-1, full bonus, 18 points. He's only 4 points behind Holland for the league lead at 70. So 66 points through 7 weeks for Semenyo. Look, he had a run. He had a run last year where he had like I want to say like solid like 2 months where he was unstoppable. Even that he wasn't doing what he's doing right now, and this seems way more sustainable for him too this year for some reason to me.
Because he's doing it like at the start of the season when he's the man. There's more narrative around it, and like they need him to step up, and he's stepping up, and the types of goals he's scoring, like that run he made,
Yeah.
and then shaking a guy down the baseline and then sliding it home was like, oof, that's like a big boy goal right there. Like
And
that's a highlight of highlights.
and he's doing it against everybody. Like Fulham are
Yeah.
not a bad defensive team. Leads away. We just talked about how stingy they are at home. Newcastle, he had a 5 pointer, and Brighton.
Wonderful start the season. He just
Yeah,
ran through
yeah,
like he was scored all in his own half and ran through the whole other team.
his only like true blank this year is Tottenham. He didn't score against Newcastle, but he got DEFCON and a clean sheet bonus point. So a 5 pointer, I'm counting that as not a blank. His only 2 pointer this year was away to Tottenham, who have been a very, very good defensive side. So
Did you watch that game, the Bournemouth game?
the Bournemouth Tottenham game.
No, the Bournemouth
Oh,
Fulham
I
game
saw the
because
second half. Yeah,
Clivert's goal was
yeah, yeah.
nasty.
Clive's like underrated good. He's solid. Like
Well,
Bournemouth.
last year he was a must-have.
Yeah, Clivert and then Evan Nielsen. Like Bournemouth have some sneaky like guys that you could pick as like kind of flyers that they might hit for you. I mean, look,
Yeah,
you talked about like, ooh, I don't know if Rangers might be on the chopping block. I haven't looked too closely at their fixtures, but Clivert as although he's 7.0, I didn't realize he was so expensive. I thought he was more in like the 5 to 6 5 range, but
he
Clivert,
was last year, and then he
yeah,
caught
7.
fire and he rose in price. So he's got like a legacy
Yeah, so
price tag on.
maybe not the guy that you want to bring in. Also, fun stat for Clivert, his goal, unbelievable goal. He had a goal on an XG of .02. He scored on
That
a
was a
goal, like a 2% goal, literally. That shot had a 2% chance of going in, and it went in. Um,
Yeah. And you know what else happened? Like his brother scored on the day as well.
yeah.
There was like a crazy Clivert stat that like I gotta try and look this up real quick.
While you're looking it up, just for those interested in Bournemouth assets, I would probably say if you don't already have them to hold off. Their next four, they go Palace away, Forest home, City away, Villa away. And then I think they come out of that next international break with just some bangers. West Ham home, Sunderland away, Everton home. And then Chelsea home, Man United away, Burnley home. So like, look, I'm calling Man United away. That's a good fixture. They've got coming out of the next international break 5 out of 6 really good fixtures, and like I said, Chelsea's been leaking goals. So from an offensive standpoint, 6 out of 6 good fixtures if you can just hold through the next four. But Clivert will be somebody on my or Evan Nielsen, both of them will be on my radar coming out of the November international break.
Yeah, yeah. And so here's the stat. So three Clivert sons hit the net in a week. So Patrick, let's see, on Wednesday, 18-year-old Shane scored a screamer to equalize for Barcelona in
Wait,
their
Kluivert's son
U19s.
plays for Barcelona.
Yeah, U19s in their 2-1 UEFA Youth League win against PSG. So curling the ball home from the edge of the box. The following night, brother Ruben, 24, netted his first goal for Lyon.
Oh,
So he's
Europa.
playing for a great team as well. And that was in the Europa League against Salzburg. And then on Friday, Justin Clivert hangs that peach home. So 1 week, Clivert boys for Barca, Bournemouth, and Lyon. Two of them in Europe, two of them playing in Europe, one of them in the Prem, banging in goals. So big ups for the genetics of Patrick
Yeah,
Clivert.
Mama and Papa Kluivert. Do you have any more on the way? Like, what's seems
Yeah,
irresponsible to have stopped. I mean,
yeah.
wow.
I mean, it's very impressive, Patty.
Yeah.
What's your
Uh,
secret?
On to the. I'm gonna skip over Man United. They got to win. Congrats to them for finally winning a game. But on the Mick Tom Minute, every week we highlight another Man United player who has left, who continues to play great. And we have our boy, Rasmus Hojlund, again scoring for Napoli. Just what a season so far for him to completely rejuvenate his career. He was left for dead on United. He leaves, goes to Italy, joins back up with his mate, Scott McTominay. We probably only played like 8 games with at United, but paired up with KDB and Napoli, and just great start to his season, and another goal for him. Just unbelievable stuff. Uh, if I was an agent and I had a struggling like a guy who's playing pretty well, kind of he's a top target. I'm sending him to United just to kind of finish his decline and then leave immediately to rejuvenate his career. Just like send him there, stay for 6 months, be a bit of a disappointment, and then go play somewhere else and rejuvenate your career.
It's 100% the right play um, because it's working. Then he scored two for Denmark yesterday.
He scored
So
two
he's
for Denmark.
Yeah, scored for Denmark yesterday. The guy, I mean, they played Belarus, but hey, whatever. He's heating up and gaining confidence. And this guy was persona non grata at United. Everybody's just bashing the poor guy. He leaves. He's thriving.
He can't stop scoring.
It
He can't
can't
stop
stop
scoring.
scoring. It does help when you go from the quality, you go from like the poop of United to like you've got slide rule De Bruyne just sliding you balls, but hey, you still got to finish him, and he's doing it, and he's doing it in the league where it's tough to score goals. So credit to that guy having the mental fortitude to keep going and start thriving instantly.
It really just shows how mental this game is, like how mental sports is, right? Like you have to have talent, obviously, but like once you get to a certain talent level, the difference between being great and being a bum in the eyes of people like us is mental, right? Like he gets some confidence, and now he can't stop scoring. United, he went there a couple struggles and then just spirals into that just the death spiral that is Man United. So just unbelievable stuff. Yeah, we will keep watching the space and keep tuning into the
Make
McTominay.
a minute is not going anywhere because on any given weekend, Domine, Anthony, Hoyland, like
Rashi, baby.
Rashi, yeah,
Yeah.
Rashi, like if this is such a thing, and I'm glad we got ahead of this because we were on this first. ESPN ran an article 2 days ago saying it was Hoyland Rashford, latest stars to shine since leaving Man United. And they wrote this guy, Chris Wright, wrote a whole article about all the players that have went to United, didn't do well, and then now have left and are thriving elsewhere.
Maybe he's been tuning into. If you're tuning into the pod, let us know in the
Yeah,
comments.
Chris Wright, hey, come on, buddy, throw us a bone. We're speaking the same language, pal.
Unbelievable, unbelievable. That was gonna wrap up my European football segment. Unless you have anything else.
We just got a lot of qualifiers going on right now.
Yeah.
Today in the qualifiers, we had France beat Azerbaijan, Germany beat Luxembourg. You expect those types of results. Like we mentioned, Switzerland beat Sweden. Sweden are not looking good to qualify. What happened? Let's see. We've got just a lot of international friendlies, including our own United States of America playing tonight, right?
Yes, I
Tonight,
believe.
yes, tonight
Yeah, against Ecuador.
against Ecuador. So yeah, lots of games are out there. There's gonna be more games next week, so I'll have more to talk of when we get into the U.S. men's national team and
Yeah. It,
um, World Cup focus pod.
yes, it does seem like against Ecuador we are gonna be probably out Pulisic and Jedi and Zendejas also a fitness doubt. So Pulisic and Antony both are kind of nagging injuries. Antony obviously still coming back from doing his knee earlier this year. Zendejas, I think, is more of his fitness and injury coming from his club. So it seems like all three will miss the Ecuador match, or at the very least, not start the Ecuador match, according to Poch and his presser yesterday. So bit of a shorthanded squad going into that one, but hopefully they're at least back for the second game of this break.
Yeah, yeah, it's unfortunate because like again we've kind of spoke about it last week. It's like these games that we're playing on this international break are
Yeah.
going to be the games that we're going to face in the World Cup. Like there's going to be potentially, we don't know, potentially another big club, another big country, maybe not, but like the tickets that we have to game 3, it could come down to us needing to beat an Ecuador, to advance. You know what I mean? So like these are good measure stick games to like
No,
figure out how we show up with the right mentality because anyone can get up to play Brazil. You know what I mean? Like that, yeah, you have to get up for that game. But getting up for Ecuador, you gotta show up and show out. And so
I'd say
be interesting to watch.
it's even more beyond that, right? It's like they've got to play games together and build this chemistry together and like be able to make the passes to each other. They don't have to see the guy running; they just know that he's going to be there because they've gotten the reps in. And we don't have the reps in, it makes it tough. So yeah, and like I said, I
You
started
need
to
your
kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel for this squad. And like this set, it's one game. Hopefully that they get fully healthy for the next one, but they got to get their reps in for this because we need it.
and the
Especially if
thing
we're
is
gonna
with
be,
like Rob
especially if
Robinson,
we're
right?
gonna
Like
be
you come,
there.
yeah, we're gonna be there, so you guys better show.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
I like Robinson, very similar to like a Rodri, right? Like you have these injuries. It starts with one injury, then somehow in the recovery, other injuries pop up for a while. Like it starts with a knee, and then it's a hamstring, and then it's a calf. And it's like your body is like trying to like
it's building.
resync back into
Yeah,
this harmonious state, and it takes a while. So I'm hoping like these injuries don't keep like adding on, adding on, adding on to the point where he doesn't have a good like 6 8 months of run into the World Cup. You know what I mean? Like we're trending in that direction. We're like, come on, you're missing out on all your windows here.
it's yeah. Part of it, it's almost feels like he's feeling healthy, like his knees feeling good, so he's like getting back out there. But at the same time, mentally, it's like, oh, I got to overcompensate, and then other things start happening to your body. It almost feels like, hey, man, like almost feels like, hey, let's not train during this international break. Let's give you like the 2 weeks off, and if he can't get fully fit for Fulham between now and November, I would say leave him out for November too. Like him being healthy means more than anything. Like of all the
Yeah,
people, that's one of the few positions where like I look at left back, I'm like he's the guy, and there's nobody else. Like he's got to be the
there's
guy.
nobody else.
So like
There's no comparable backup
no,
there that has the pedigree, the experience. Like we'd bring in some young kid, and he just who knows? I don't even know who that'd be. Like we need him out there.
yeah, no, we need absolutely need him out there. Um, Moving over to MLS. So another week 2 more wins for LAFC. It started Sunday night, a late Denny Bouanga goal to break a 0-0 deadlock against Atlanta and scrape out a 1-0 win. LAFC then did it again Wednesday night against Toronto. 6 points since our last pod. Jeremy Ebobisse opened the scoring early against Toronto for LAFC, who were playing without Bouanga and Son on international duty. When Ebobisse scored, it was the first LAFC goal not scored by Bouanga or Son since August. Since August, man.
What was it? 18 straight goals
Yeah.
were Sonny and Bouanga?
It was
18.
18 consecutive goals lasted.
That's
And it
crazy.
probably, look, if I'm being honest, it probably would have kept going if Son and Bouanga weren't gone on international duty. But LAFC, a massive 2 wins in the last 2 games. Frankie Amaya scored the second goal for LAFC in the 70th minute coming off the bench. So LAFC beat Atlanta 1-0, then Toronto 2-0. LAFC are now 1 point behind both San Diego and Vancouver to top the West. San Diego has played 1 extra game, so LAFC play Austin on Sunday, which if they win would go ahead of LAFC or ahead of San Diego, and then depending on what Vancouver do in their game, LAFC come Sunday night could control their own destiny to hosting the 1 seed or grabbing the 1 seed in the playoffs. So great, last 7 days since our last pod for LA, and now they got to have another win this weekend, and then it'll be all in their hands on decision day next Sunday. So yeah.
We're coming, Mikey. We're coming. We're coming, big boy.
San Diego would have the tie. So if LAFC tie Austin on Sunday, San Diego would have the tiebreaker over them because they have more wins, which is crazy. The MLS tiebreaker is not goal differential. It does not matter how you played.
Why would it be? It would, of course, it'd be. Like, look, we're coming down the final stretch of the season, which determines seeding and everything else, and it's an international break, and we have 2 games, and our 2 best players are gone. Like, what is this? Like, this is our bone to pick of the week as well. Like, MLS, what the schedule looks like in advance. We need to align the schedule so that it matches up with the international window. Like, why are we still doing these things down the stretch like this?
Do you want to know what's even better or crazier? Is that, there's an international break right now. MLS is in their run-in. The playoffs are starting for MLS. There's going to be the 8-9 playing games in each conference, and then the best of 3 series will take place in each conference. Then there's another international break. So there's going to be a 2-week break in the middle of the playoffs for every single team that's advancing. It might even be a 3-week break for some teams, depending on if they win their first 2 games in the best of 3 early and then they play late in the conference semis. I guess at least they're not making teams play without their best players, but it's nuts. Like, some of these teams are going to be losing 4, 5, 6, 7 guys for 2 weeks in the middle of the playoffs. They're going to go play for their countries, trying to qualify for a World Cup. Like, they're going to be risking injury potentially, and they're going to come back not rested. Other teams are going to have 2 weeks of practice with almost their full squads, not risking any injuries. Like, they're going to be able to scout and practice really well for the games that they have come. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy that they just, and none of this is a surprise. Like MLS earlier this year basically voted against aligning their schedule with the World Cup next year because they didn't have time to figure out how to make it work with the sponsors and the TV deal. They've had 8 years since the World Cup was announced that it was going to be in America. And they had 8 years to figure out, how are we going to move? And they do want to move on to the FIFA calendar and match it so that their transfer windows are the same as everyone else's, and they play from fall to spring instead of from winter to fall. And they had so much time, and the perfect time to do it would be when the World Cup is in your country. And instead they're going to go on a 2-month break in the middle of the season. It's just crazy how Don Garber has done a ton for MLS owners by whatever, maybe it's just by dumb luck increasing their values probably like 5 to 6x for almost every team since he took over as commissioner. But this is such an utter failure. Like to not have your schedule aligned, to have key teams missing key players on an international break, and then having a break in the middle of your playoffs. Like this is crazy. Like it's crazy. If someone gets hurt in the middle of the like in the playoffs at international duty, it could completely ruin their team's chances of winning. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, and it made sense in in the building of the league to like, look, we don't want to compete
Yes.
against like the NFL, so we're gonna do it in like the off season and all that, right? But like I think as of this point now, we understand like there's enough of a fervent fan base, and the Venn diagram of like NFL fans and MLS fans doesn't really overlap that much. And
Well,
so like there's no I mean, I don't have the numbers in front of me. I don't have the TV numbers. I don't have stats or anything like that. But I'd be willing to bet when the NFL's back in and the MLS is playing, I'd love to see those numbers to see, like, from a case perspective, why they wouldn't shift to a normal, like, calendar that everybody else follows.
and
I
I
don't
guess it's
know.
probably to your point. It's probably not just MLS. It's also college. It's not just NFL. It's also college football. So like your Saturdays and your Sundays with college football, like they're gonna go into TV ratings. But if you like you play your West Coast games at 7 p.m., 7:30 p.m. on Saturday night and Sunday night, there's one NFL game on Sunday night. It's pretty much over by halftime of your game. And then on Saturday night, there are very few college football games starting at like 7:30 Pacific. And so you have so many teams on the like Vancouver, Seattle, Portland, San Jose, LA, San Diego, like Galaxy and LAFC. So you have so many West Coast teams in the MLS that like you can start a bunch of games in that 7:30 window and not compete with college football on Saturday nights.
Yeah.
And to your point, the Venn diagram of overlap is probably smaller than we think. Like there are your soccer fans, and I think it only will increase the popularity amongst soccer fans who like there are still a good portion of soccer fans in this country that like the Prem or like like Serie A or the Bundesliga, and like to get them in like a soccer mood, and then it's like 3 p.m. on Saturday. All the games in Europe are over. Oh, there's an MLS game on. I'm already in the soccer mood. Let's keep watching soccer. They can't really do that now, except for like the 6 weeks of overlap. But they're gonna have overlap the rest of the year. I think it'll increase their ratings. Yeah, it should be on the same calendar. The transfer windows being different is crazy. Like LAFC get half a season, like get a third of a season of Sun. If they had normal transfer window, they'd have a full season of Sun. Like just imagine that. Like it's hard to incorporate the transfers in the middle of the middle of the window and the season like that. Yeah, lots of problems with Mr. Garber, but he's done what he's supposed to do for the owners and made their franchises worth a lot more money, so they're happy.
I'm wondering also, as we were speaking, does weather play at all a factor in it? Because if you go on a regular schedule, start in August, go through the winter, and then you end in like May, right? If you're this back east, northeast, like if you're Midwest, the Minnesota, the Chicago's, if you're back east, the New York teams, like again,
Yeah,
Columbus.
yeah.
Like I wonder if they're gonna just be like frozen in like under snow, and I'm wondering if that. I don't know. I wonder if that has anything to do with it. I'd be curious to if we get him on the pod, we could talk to him. But I'd be curious to know if like weather at all plays a factor into why the scheduling's done the way it is, because it is outside of the winter months.
That is a fair point. Um, yeah, like
You see?
Minnesota, and it probably matters more for like the Minnesotas, the Chicagos, and the Columbuses than for the East Coast because like they play in the winter in England, and like yeah, it snows on the East Coast, but it doesn't. It's not like Minnesota. Like Minnesota, there is snow like on the ground for 6 months, or maybe 4 months. in New York, it'll snow and they'll clear it off, right? It doesn't. They don't. They might get a bad snowstorm here and there that might prevent like one game or two games from being played, and they can pick it up. But like you're
Yeah.
Minnesota, and I'm looking right now, they do not have a roof on their pitch, so that would be. I guess what they could do if it wasn't actively when it's not actively snowing, they could cover the field. Um, Although I don't know what that's good, but that would do to the grass. So I'm sure there are weather potential issues, but it seems
Like
like they
even
want to move on to the calendar, and they just like the reason why they didn't was they kind of said in April, well we couldn't fit like we didn't have enough time and we don't want to rush the switch like the calendar switch, but they have had so like that's such a bad excuse to me because you've had a lot of time, you've known this was coming. If anything, like you could have used the World Cup to like promote the start of the next MLS season in like a very big way, and instead it's like, oh, MLS will continue after all these guys are exhausted from playing throughout the summer.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but that's a good point. The weather is a good shout. Maybe that has some.
As I look through here, it's like even like ones you wouldn't even think, like Colorado Rapids, there could be potential snow there. Cal Salt Lake, potential snow. Like Kansas City, St. Louis, that's gonna be cold. I mean, look, it's weather, right? Like the NFL deals with it. Like it's actually a novelty when people play in Lambeau Field and it's cold and it's snowing. Like
Yeah,
you figure these things out.
they do it in Europe, right? Like they play in bad weather all the time in England and in other parts of Europe. So like it's not like soccer is like baseball where like oh it can't be snowing there can't be snow and a ton of rain, right? That makes it too hard to like you can play in it. It's not ideal and it's probably pretty bad for attendance. But like Minnesota might get what they might want to do is they might schedule a bunch of away games for them in that time period.
You know what they would do? They would do like they used to do for the Lakers when the Grammys come,
Yeah.
the Staples. They always had the Grammys like road trip, and so like what they could do is like, all right, when is it the coldest and snowiest in Miami? All right, it's going to do the winter road trip, and we're gonna play in Miami. We're gonna play in Orlando. We're
Yeah.
gonna play in Italy,
Go
and
play
we're gonna get
Miami, Orlando, Atlanta, and Charlotte, right? For a month.
yeah,
And that's like you
yeah.
go spend a month like yeah. Yeah, for sure.
They can figure it out for sure. I mean, it just you got to get aligned with the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you get what we're doing right now. The season is coming to an end, the most important time of the season, and we're on an international break, and our players are gone, and we're trying to compete here. So it's like you're diminishing your own product at a crucial point. It's
And then again, the playoffs. Like imagine you're a team like LA is I guess an extreme example. Well, San Diego, I think they have like they don't have any games. But I read they have I think 7 guys on international duty right now. Like imagine you're Mikey trying to prep your team for a conference semifinal game against I'm gonna pick on them a little bit like Minnesota. Let's say you're playing Minnesota in the conference semis. They have one guy who's got called up for international duty. You have 7. Which team has an advantage going into that game? Like you've had 7 guys like traveling across the world, playing under different systems, not being able to practice with your team, versus another team who's been able to rep and practice and like game plan with their starting 11 for your team. Like it's such a disadvantage for teams with better players. Um, it's crazy. I can't get over how nuts it feels like.
Yeah, it was almost like, I used to always feel that way around college football. They would take like a month off before they played like their bowl game. And you'd be like, the national championship game used to be like, you'd finish the season and then there was a month
Correct.
until the national championship game. You're like, well, what's a different season? Like, what are we talking about?
Although the better analogy there would be within that month, half the teams lose half their players, and then half it would almost be like if the NFL Combine was in that month in between. It's like okay, half your best players are prepping for something else and going for something else that matters just as much to them. And then the other team, they might only have 3 guys that are gone. So good luck coming back. It's not like, at least with college football, it's like, okay, they take the month off, but no one has anything and they're all practicing. Versus the other, it's like, well, I'm missing half my team to practice. What am I supposed to do here? Ooh, all right. That's our rant of the week. I'm gonna not do USMNT corner this week because, like I said, we've got a full-blown international pod coming up next week with no prem action this weekend. Like I said, we're gonna do the road to 26. We're gonna fully break down the guys who we think are locks, likely guys on the team, the hopefuls for the 26 roster spots for the U.S. men's national team at the 2026 World Cup hosted in America. We will also look at the UEFA qualifying and the AFCON qualifyings. I think South America and Oceania are done. Asia, I think, is also wrapping up either this international break or next. So we'll do kind of a bit of a World Cup preview in terms of who's in, who still needs some help to get in, and then potentially what pots people are falling into. So I did do a little bit of research today. US, Mexico, and Canada are all in pot 1. Neither of those teams, I don't think, are actually in the top 12 FIFA teams in the world. So there'll be the top 9 qualifying teams on FIFA rankings plus the 3 host nations will be in pot 1. This will be the first World Cup with 48 teams. There will be 12 groups of 4 with the top 2 teams in each group automatically qualifying, and then 8 of the top 12 third place teams qualifying for the round of 32 knockout stage. So
further emphasizing why the third game that we're going to, very important. It either puts us in second, puts us in third, or we're coming from fourth trying to scrap into third.
Yeah. And I think if the US comes in first place in their group, what I read, their group D apparently, they will be slotted into the round of 32 knockout game in San Francisco.
Oh.
Yeah. It's sold out, so you can't buy tickets to it right now. But that if I think if they come in second in the group, they play in Dallas, also sold out, for the round of 32 knockout. And I don't think they know what happens with the third place teams, because obviously it depends on where they fall within the 8 out of 12 that make it. And then I don't think it's set that like, oh, third place in group D goes here. I think it all depends on which other groups qualify. So
I was thinking, if there's ever a game that we cannot make it to, I wonder if COSM will have
I'm sure
a game.
COSM.
I hope they have the license to do it, because it'd be great to go watch a game there if we can't be in person.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Have you ever been there for a game?
I've been for a football game. I haven't been for soccer. Yeah. My guess is that they will do it, and my guess is that it'll be pretty expensive, but might be worth it to go, because it's a good experience.
It's going to depend. Even if you're not in the dome part, there's like the bar in there, the big screens in there is almost like it's worthwhile to watch a game there.
Yeah.
Because the dome itself could end up paying $400 a ticket for there, and you're like, well, I might as well just like
go to the game.
If that's the case.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, I just looked up the rankings. Mexico is 14th. We're 16th. Canada is 26th.
Yeah. So Mexico, like, hypothetically could sneak into the top 12, but like I said, it's going to be 9 of the top 9 teams, and then U.S., Mexico, and Canada.
That's
interesting.
Gives us some hope.
And then obviously we can't get drawn in with any of the other CONCACAF nations, so we'll likely be paired with a European team and then a team from Africa or South America or Asia is kind of the likelihood. Um, should be fun. The draw's in December, so we got about, I think it's December 5th. I looked it up earlier. So we have 2 months, and then we'll know who we're playing when, and what team we get to see live at SoFi. It should be, oh boy, that's going to be something.
That's an amazing stadium and World Cup atmosphere. I've never been to a World Cup game, so this will be the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Be a bucket list check mark. Yeah, and it's pretty special to be able to see your team play in your hometown. That's pretty awesome.
Very cool. Yeah, I think maybe we plan on, unless people are going to fly up to Seattle, which I'm guessing most people won't for that second game. Maybe we try to do COSM for that second group game when the red, white, and blue are in Seattle. My guess though is that COSM might be a couple $100. I went to it was an NFL game. I think it was a Thursday night. It was either a Monday night or a Thursday night game, and it was like 100 and we got a table like for food and stuff, and just for the seats in that main area, it was like $110 a person. For 6 seats, it was like 700. The table was like 700. It was a little bit more. The table was $700, and there were 6 of us. So it's like a little.
The alternative is like waiting in line at a bar early, getting in there, locking down the situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to have a whole strategy session around like bars and locations and places to go to watch the games live.
There's a good soccer bar in Culver City, Joxer's Daily.
Yeah, I've been there before.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. We can't go back to wherever we went last. Was it to go to O'Brien? We went to that one place on Santa Monica. We lost there, so that place is out. We lost to the Dutch there, so that place is out.
Oh, yeah. That was a fun day.
That was a fun day.
What was that? It was across from O'Brien's. It wasn't. Maybe it was O'Brien's. I don't know, but it was. Yeah.
It was Irish. It was on Main Street. It might have been a Fitz something or other, but yeah.
It's exciting.
All right.
Very exciting. All right. Well, we got the boys in blue, red, white, and blue playing tonight. Ecuador. See how we do. A lot of talking points coming out of it. Full draft notes being taken during the game. Dodgers, all happening.
Like, comment, subscribe down below. We'll send the link out. Probably not for this one, but for a future one. And we'll see. I bet we get at least one person in the chat the next time. The next fantasy pod we record. Or maybe we invite him for the road to 26. See what the fantasy constituents have to say about our USMNT takes. We'll see.
There'll be a lot of.
Maybe we get Mikey. Maybe we see Mikey. I know you're in the middle of the playoff. You're planning for the playoffs and for decision day. Come join the pod. Talk to us about your take on the U.S. men's national team guys trying to make the roster. We got to get him on for some, he probably wouldn't talk candidly in a setting.
Well, he's going to have to come in the off season.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be real. It'll be an off season season in review recap, but around the World Cup.
Yeah.
And we'll by then we're going to be a well-oiled machine. We'll have I got to talk to my guy about little transition things again.
Yeah, we need we need graphics. We got to work on that.
Yeah.
We work on graphics. We get a real microphone sooner rather than later in here. Now that we're doing this consistently, but we got the rest of the tech. We got the rest of the tech going strong.
Yeah, we're good. I'm liking these a lot. We're covering a lot of ground.
Yeah.
We're starting to find our own little nuances within the pod that we talk about that are our own. That's nice.
Yeah.
And
we're keeping a little tighter. This week we went a little bit long, but we started off a little bit. We were ranting for about 5 minutes.
That's my fault. Tangent, Gabon,
But
hot topic.
even this, I think we've only been recording for like an hour 20-ish. So even that's better. I think our first one was over 2 hours and we lost it to the ether. So now we're getting a little bit tighter. We got, we're getting more of a cadence. We're working it out. I think we're on the right path here. There's something here. We'll figure out exactly what it is, and to extract what we need to out of it. But there's something here. It's fun to talk about and chop it up with a buddy about topic we're both interested in.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Alrighty.
All right. All right. Well, we will see you next week when we're going to dive more into the men's national team. I'm basking in fantasy glory into an international break. Can I carry the momentum forward? We'll see. But all right, Bix. This is fun.
Cheers, everybody.